Hello everyone, today I'm going to be reacting to SZA's sophomore album, SOS. If you guys would like to skip right to my reaction, I will have a timestamp on the screen right here to where you guys can go to. And now onto a couple quick disclaimers. Number one, this is just my personal opinion and interpretation of the songs. I'd love to hear yours down below, just keep respectful please. Sorry for any background noise or dust particles that may occur throughout this video. I'm going to be stopping and giving my thoughts as I go along. I'm also going to have to cut out a lot of each song due to copyrights. If you see me looking down at my phone, that is just because I'll have the lyrics pulled up for each song. Lastly, if I have any else I forget to add, check down below. I might have a pinned comment. And let's get into it. The first song is SOS. Okay, so my thoughts on this. What an amazing opening track. This song is giving me 90s vibes, like the background vocal or choir, whatever it is going on the back there. I don't know if that's a sample, I'll have to look that up. The part at the end, it was reminding me of a line from Beyonce's song Listen. So I don't know if there's samples on here, but the first track on this is already giving classic. I love her voice on here. She sounded absolutely great. I like the lyrics on here. I like the production. This is how you open up an album. And this is just so good, and there's a bunch of more tracks to go. So I really love it so far. And now to track 2, Kill Bill. Okay, so my thoughts on this song, absolutely amazing to listen to. I thought that the production on here was flawless. I loved her vocal on here and just what she was doing in terms of just her tone and everything on there was something that was so pleasant to listen to overall. Something that I wanted to add is I really like the juxtaposition of these like dark, like troubling lyrics, and she's just singing them so beautifully over like the production. I love whenever artists do something like that. It's just something that is so fascinating to me. So I thought that that was really cool about the song. And I had a feeling that this was going to be a favorite song for me. I said on my TikTok, I was like, I feel like this might be a favorite based off the title. I know that there's a movie called Kill Bill. I still to this day haven't seen it. I should probably go watch it at some point. But the title intrigued me. I was like, you know what? I think that this is going to be a great track. But just amazing overall, and you really do love to see it. This album is just wow, she's really blowing me away once again. I already knew this was going to be a great album, and she just keeps proving me right. And now to track 3, Seek and Destroy. Okay, so my thoughts on the song: great track overall, beautiful vocals from SZA. I like the lyrics. I enjoyed the song overall. I thought that it had a really nice cadence to it. And at the end, it sounded like it was setting up for a transition for this next song. And really excited to listen to this album in full and just see how the transition flows, because that's going to be fun. But I really liked it overall. And now to track 4, Low. Okay, so I had to pause really quickly, because is that Travis Scott on the backing vocals for this song? Like, does he have a part in this song too? Because, ugh, that's something that doesn't rub me the right way because of the entire Astroworld thing. I know he's featured in another song on this album. I'm going to skip that. I decided I just don't even want to listen to it. Like, if they come out with like an edit for it, I'll listen to it then where he's like off the song. But I feel like that's him on like the background of the song. So, ooh, that's just something that I don't like. I wish he is not on the song. He's already on one song, which I didn't want to happen. Why would you put him on other songs if it's him? If it's him. Okay, so my thoughts on the song. So I just went on Wikipedia really quickly just to check if Travis was on the backing vocals for the song like I thought he was. And yeah, that is true. Like towards the end, I was like, this is probably him. So my thoughts, knowing that information, this might not stay in my rotation. Like at this point, I really don't see it because is a song good objectively? Yeah, but it's not so amazing to where I'm like, I have to keep listening to it, you know? And just him being on the ad-libs in the back is really bothering me. And I'm just not able to enjoy the song to its full potential because I just don't like him and everything that went on with the entire Astroworld thing. And so that, it just makes me so uneasy about the song that I'm like, I don't think that I'm gonna keep listening to this if I'm honest. I was able to appreciate it for what it was. It was definitely unexpected, you know, with the beginning and how everything came. But compared to everything else, it's not as dynamic. It's more so kind of like flat. It's more so kind of like one note compared to everything else that I listened to already. And that is kind of just like something that doesn't sit right with me. So that's how I personally feel off of my first listen on the song. And now onto track 5, Love Language.
Patience ain't no virtue with you. You with bitches on the side and let my mind wander too. It's me like I'm waiting for you to come lie to me. Till on the way out, they only give you not around me. Needing you to talk to me in your love language. How does I wanna be your section like a slow jam? Stick around cause I want to. You remind me I'm imperfect and it sucks to admit. You put that purpose in me like you do. Only get the truth about me quite like you. You're the definition of my right hand. If I'm right in backseat when you leave me. Talk to me in your love language. Tell me, understand your love language. Coming like you want confessions. Queued up like a last bitch looking chewed up, baby. You know the difference between me and chickens.
Okay, so my thoughts on this track, I quite enjoyed it. I definitely think it was an upgrade from the last track. I thought it was great overall. I really liked lyrics for it. Her vocals were nice. I really liked the production on here as well, just working nicely. And then whenever I was on Wikipedia for the other song and scrolling down and seeing the credits, I did see that there was a sample of Hit Different, so that's why it didn't surprise me. But maybe this is why they didn't put Hit Different on the album, because I remember seeing the track list and I was like, how did Hit Different not make it and I Hate You did? I like I Hate You, but I like Hit Different more, and I would have preferred if it would have been on the track list. So maybe that's why. Maybe they felt it was redundant if they're already gonna sample part of it anyways. I still think it should have made the track list. But anyways, I think that it's cool whenever artists can sample themselves or reference past work, and that's definitely something noted there. But overall, I thought that this was a decent track. And now to track 6, Blind.
Niggas want me to get ratchet. Niggas want me to attack it. Greedy, I can't pass it. I don't care how much you knew me in the past tense. Fucking on my ex cause he validated me. check, I don't want a receipt. My past can't escape me. My pussy precedes me. I'm still playing the victim, and you still playing to pick me. It's so embarrassing. All of the things I need, I can't see. I'm blind. You ain't getting your bitch back. Calm down, she could be worse. Never say that. Mama told me never show where you lay at. I don't want righteousness. I hurt too much. I lost too much. I hit my clutch and room. Third day, pop out the tomb. I like when you put your gun at the red light. I like when you come, let me stay the whole night. My past can't escape me. My pussy precedes me. Still talking about babies, and I'm still taking the plan B. It's all I can't see. I'm blind.
Okay, so my thoughts on this track. I actually did hear like the first half of this because she put the snippet at the end of the short music video whenever I reacted to it. If you guys want to see that, I'll have a card on the screen right here to where you guys can go to. But I already heard like the first half of it, and I know that she performed it on SNL, but I purposely didn't watch it because I was like, let me wait for the album so I can just listen to the full thing in context and enjoy it. And I think that this is a gorgeous song overall, and this might be another favorite for me on the album, and it's just great. I really like the lyrics for this. The one whenever she was talking about, you still talking about babies or something, but I'm still taking the plan B, that was hilarious to me, and that's why I started laughing, because that was just so funny. And overall, like I said before, SZA is a great songwriter, one of my favorite songwriters working to date, in fact, and I really love the way that she fits words together, and just she has a very unique style and cadence, and the whole confessional style is just something that's very fascinating to me. And then whenever I learned that a lot of times she just walks in and freestyles, it just blew my mind, because how can you come up with stuff like this on the fly, you know? And so it just never sits right with me whenever people do not give SZA her due as a songwriter and all that kind of stuff. Like, SZA's definitely one of the best songwriters. She writes catchy hooks, and it's a very unique style. And as people said, that's why people keep ripping her off, because she has such an excellent style and people keep copying her, but only SZA can do her style justice. And so I just really love the instrumentation, like whatever string instrument that they're using. Maybe it's a guitar, maybe it's like a lute, maybe it's something else. Everything just flows really nicely on this track. It's something that feels really light to listen to overall, and so I just quite enjoy this one. And now to track 7, Used, featuring Don Toliver.
Yeah, especially when it's out of it. Yes, I've been used to being used like this. Ain't no different phrase and no time for protection over my most prized possession. Handing out princess, my dad only mother's praying me feel better. I get a tip, sharing my vision, mine as well. Get bread, do it even work. Moments stolen, taste better. I didn't do this go well. Certain things calling to get closer. I feel like it's over. And I have to push you through what we done living in life. Gotta break my focus, bitch. I'm Obi-Wan. Thought it'd be easy to get myself on. I need it, but it takes time. And I'm out of patience. I lose myself to you. Need better when you try less. Double up better when you confess. Spend my life discovering new shit. You had another one caught up with a girl. Certain things calling to get closer. I need a lover with some mellow. Do you want something calling to get closer?
Okay, so my thoughts on this track overall, I thought that it was decent. I really love the way that her cadence was over top of the production. I thought that it fit really nicely, and so that was enjoyable to listen to in itself. And so my thoughts on Don Toliver on this song, meh. It didn't really stand out to me. It wasn't really something that was added to the song. It was kind of just there to me, and just not something that I really loved listening to. I feel like if I listen to the song, I'll tolerate his part. I feel like this song still would have been good if he wasn't on it. At least that's how I'm feeling based off my first listen, but I liked it overall. And now to track 8, Snooze.
I feel like Scarface. Sex remind you I'm the violent, I'm your
Okay, my thoughts on this track. I felt like it was something delightful to listen to overall, something that was very comforting and relaxing. I think that her vocals on here were beautiful to listen to, so I really like that about it. I really like the production, I like the lyrics, I like the general sentiment of it. The one part that I don't like is it's like on the back half, I think it's toward the end, might be them pitching her vocals down, or maybe someone else is coming in and doing a vocal, but that part, I think they put like auto-tune or pitch correction or whatever they put in that part, I didn't like that part. But that's a really, really small part of the song, and it's not something that bothers me so much. So I feel like with time I'll probably get used to that, but that's like the only little small part that I didn't like about the song. Everything else I thought was great.
So I saw on Wikipedia that Babyface is credited as a songwriter and a producer on this track, and I thought that that was very cool. I love Babyface, probably one of my favorite producers of all time. He has multiple classics like Sitting Up in My Room by Brandy, for example, and the list goes on and on and on. So I thought it was really cool to see him on here. So of course, shout out to him. Shout out to all the songwriters and the producers on this track. They did great.
And now to track 9, Notice Me. Okay, so my thoughts on this track, good overall. I was really able to appreciate it for what it was in terms of the vocal performance, production, and lyrics. And now into track 10, Gone Girl. Okay, so my thoughts on this track, I loved this one. This might be a favorite on the album for me. I really like the lyrics on this one. I feel like they stood out the most to me. Just saying, every time I'm around you, I find myself regressing and trying to grow without hating the process, and just all the other lyrics. I feel like that stood out to me the most. And I really love in SZA's music how honest she is about her own emotions and just everything going on around her, and she just really bears it all. So that's always something that I really appreciate in a songwriter. Like I said, I think that she's a great songwriter. I thought that her vocal on here was a treat to listen to. She really went off there, and I believe it was the bridge that I really liked of this song. And so it was a very interesting listen. I really liked the production on here as well, and it just flowed really, really nicely overall, so I quite enjoyed it. And now to track 11, Smoking on My X-Pac.
Roll the clip and run it back. I'm really like that. Abracadabra, you niggas sideshow. I'm bobbing like psycho. I'm fucking on heartthrobs. I got your favorite rapper block. Screaming, get back together. I'm screaming back at a bus trick. I wipe my phone and gave you know my beat the case. Playing from nosebleeds. I wish you well. Smoking on my X-Pac tonight. Smoking on. You can trust in me. I can trust in you.
Okay, so my thoughts on this track overall, it was cool. It was definitely unexpected. I wasn't expecting SZA to rap over it, but I think that she did great and she had some funny lines in there. So I like that part of it, and then I like the way that she transitioned into singing. And this just feels like a nice little interlude, and so I liked it overall. I felt like it was an entertaining listen. And now to track 12, Ghost in the Machine featuring Phoebe Bridgers.
Everything disgusting, conversation is so boring. I just want fuck,
Okay, so my thoughts on the song, they ate this up. I remember whenever the track list came out and everyone was kind of surprised, myself included, that Phoebe would be featured just because they're two very different artists. I love Phoebe Bridgers, for the record. I do have some videos on her on my channel. I'll probably have them right here in a card if you guys would like to check those out. And also at the end, a link down below in the description, of course. But I do love Phoebe. I think that she is an excellent songwriter and she has this like airy, angelic, beautiful voice. And so it was really cool for me to get to see that they were going to collaborate on a song. And so I already knew this was going to be a favorite for me on this record, and they just proved me right. I think that the songwriting on here is great because I feel like they both really show off their strengths well, and they had some really funny lines in there and just something that's very cool in terms of that. And I remember watching a SZA interview that she did recently, and I believe she said the song was going to be like weird and alternative, something like that, and it definitely kind of fits the bill for that. And I remember her saying that they went to the studio together and she thought that Phoebe was fun or something around there. But yeah, I mean, even the title's fitting, Ghost in the Machine, because as people were pointing out, Phoebe's last album was called Punisher and she's wearing that little skeleton costume, and then her first album is called Stranger in the Alps, and so everything kind of fits in together really nicely in terms of that. So I love the production in here. I thought that it had a really great atmosphere to it. I thought that both of them gave great vocal performances, and this is what collaborations are supposed to do. You're supposed to bring the best out of the artist that you're collaborating with and make sure that they're an addition to the song and not a hindrance to it. And I feel like with the Phoebe Bridgers feature, she was able to achieve that. So yes, love this, love both of them, and like I said, definitely going to be a favorite for me on this record. And now on to track 13, F2F. Okay, so my thoughts on this track overall, it was definitely something that was unexpected, but I think that she really nailed it, having this like rock or pop rock or like alternative or like pop punk sound, like whatever it is. It's like one of those genres, but I think that she really nailed it. And I think if anything, this new record is showing her versatility as a vocalist, and that's something that I really, really value in a singer. And she's proving that she can do it all with her voice and she can adapt to whatever style that she needs to. And so that is something that's very cool to me overall. And so I really like the production on here. I like her vocal on here. And this is just something that is a decent track on the album overall. I feel like this one is going to be one that people are heavily divided on. It's going to be a very divisive song on the album, but I personally like it. I like that kind of music, and I think that she did it justice with the vocal, and I like the lyrics and production. Everything worked together nicely in my personal opinion. Also, whenever I was looking at the credits on Wikipedia earlier, I saw that Lizzo was a songwriter on this, so definitely shout out to her. I think that she's a great songwriter, and I believe they teased that they have more stuff coming, so I wonder if she's going to be on the deluxe or something like that. But that's definitely something that I wanted to know as well.
Okay, so listening to this song while editing this video, I was just thinking, imagine if she did a remix of the song and she put Miley Cyrus on it. Like, Miley Cyrus would nail this. It is right in her forte. Miley is a very versatile vocalist as well. Or imagine if Miley did a cover of this. Her covers are amazing. I like some of them a lot better than the original. I really like the textures of her voice, and like I said, the versatility again. So I was like, imagine that. Like, I was just thinking about it. I'm like, that would be so cool. And then I'm like, also maybe the song is giving Hannah Montana vibes in terms of the chord progression. So I was thinking maybe that as well. But that's some really cool food for thought. And I hope that they collaborate at some point, or she does a cover of something, because that would be very cool in my opinion.
And now onto track 14, Nobody Gets Me.
To
Okay, so my thoughts on the song. I did hear like a small snippet on social media because I know that she released a clip of it before the album was released, but I purposely didn't listen to the entire thing just because I wanted to listen to it for the album, but I heard a little bit of it and I did like it. And I feel like people on social media said it was giving like Taylor Swift or something. I could definitely see that. For me, it's kind of giving like old Disney, think like Hannah Montana type beat. That's what I'm kind of getting, you know. I think it's like a chord progression thing. I think it's kind of like the vibe of it. But overall, I think that this song is something that is stunning to listen to. And like I said, she's just showing her versatility on this record. And I really like that she's just trying so many different genres and she's doing them all well. And it's just cool to hear her on a song with like an acoustic guitar, really. And I think that the production worked nicely. And just everything I feel like was really suited to her vocal, which was something that was delightful overall to listen to as well. And so I really like this song. It's really great. Also, in the interview that I was mentioning earlier, she talked about this song and I believe she said something about she had a fiance and then they broke up, and then she was saying like moving on was something that was like intimidating or something like that, because she was like, nobody really gets me the way that he does and like stuff like that. And so this song is something that is very honest in terms of the lyric, and that's really something that I can appreciate, and the vocal performance and production is just a cherry on top in my personal opinion. And now onto track 15, Conceited. Okay, so my thoughts on the song overall, I think that it's all right. It wasn't something that I was like super engaged in, like, wow, I love this song. I feel like the production wasn't really dynamic enough. Like, it was all right overall. Not a stand up for me on the record, and kind of just like split on it. It's just kind of there to me on this album. Not bad, but not amazing either. And now on to track 16, Special.
I wish I was that girl from the Gucci store. She never wore any makeup, that pimples where my beauty mark should be. I never liked her, hate how you look at her, cause you never saw me like I was an ordinary girl. I wish I was special, I give all my special away to a loser. I used to be special, you made me hate me. I hate that you made me just like wanted to be thick, now I wanna be thin. Go hit my mouth, you could kick me out. You got me fucked up, now I'm getting fucked up. Why'd you have to treat me like I was an ordinary? Wish I was special, give all my special away to a loser. I hate that you made me just like you.
Okay, so my thoughts on this track, I felt like it was breathtaking to listen to, something that was very vulnerable and honest, and that's something that I can always appreciate. And also something that is very relatable as well, of course. I like the vocal on it, I can appreciate the instrumentation and production, and the lyrics as well. And now onto track 17, Too Late. Okay, so my thoughts on the song. I enjoyed listening to it. I really like the production on here, and I can appreciate her vocal on it overall. And I believe I said on my TikTok that this is going to be one that I was like claiming or looking forward to. And now that I've listened to it, I don't think this is going to be a favorite for me on the album. Not because it's bad, I think I just like other tracks more based on my first listen, but I do like it, I will say. And now to track 18, Far.
How do I deal with rejection? I feel very small.
Nobody wants you to feel free.
I know my son, I'm a cedar with need a palm tree. I be drinking in private, don't call me to party. To hook on your nigga for cardio. I put my feelings on layaway. I'm being used, I'm playing stupid. I'm being screwed, I'm feeling clueless. Got me by the shot. Far, cause I let you define me. Far, cause I can't trust nobody. They far, so far. I feel as cool as before. Need to check your bullshit at the door. Always on my mind, best is not a fight. I just want my sanity back. I'm being used, I'm playing stupid, I'm playing clueless. I don't want none of that shit, got me by the shot. Far, cause I can't trust nobody. They far, so far. Rather than a bigger enemy, ready to let it all. Far like I don't recognize me. Far, cause I can't trust nobody. They far, so far.
Okay, so my thoughts on this track, impeccable overall, quite enjoyed listening to it. I like the lyrics whenever she said like, oh, I put my feelings on low weight. I feel like that's something that's very relatable because sometimes you talk to people and they make you feel like you're being dramatic just about having feelings about like whatever it is. So sometimes you kind of like push your feelings down or whatever because of that, or maybe you're embarrassed yourself or like whatever the reason is. I like her vocal on here and I can appreciate the production as well. Also, I feel like this song kind of explains the album cover, and she said in an interview that it was inspired by this picture of Princess Diana, and she said she loved how isolated that she felt. And I saw people on social media saying her album cover and the picture of Diana are conveying two different things. And I think I saw people saying like, oh, she's kind of embracing the isolation. She doesn't want anybody around her. Like she's enjoying it, finding comfort in himself and, you know, relaxed and like that kind of thing. And then Diana seems more like loneliness and like stuff like that. I believe that's what they were saying, something around there. And that's definitely something that I agree with. The energy of the album cover basically just gives me like, I'm content with myself. I don't need anybody else. Like get everybody else away from me. I can't trust anybody, like she's saying in this particular song. So I feel like this song is the one that sums up the album cover the best. I do love the album cover, so I think that that's cool as well. And so I think that kind of ties everything together based off of this particular track. But I really liked it overall, and it might have to be a favorite for me on this album. And now to track 19, Shirk. I've listened to this one already before. I've referenced the video earlier whenever I was talking about the song Blind in the cards, but I have the playlist I did on SZA linked down below if you want to check out my reaction to that. But whenever I listen to albums, I like to listen to the entire thing all the way through on my first listen, so we will check out the song again.
That you all about me. In the dark right now, feeling days of resentment. It's all about love. Staying on my shirt, new bitch on my nerves. Going back on my word, damn bitch, it's so thirsty. Still stress and perfection, let you all in my mental. Damn, sunshine, I found a way to fuck it up. Can't cry about the shit that I can take. Gotta get out of here, can't stay. In the dark right now, feeling days of resentment. It's all about staying on my shirt, new bitch on my nerves. Going back on my word, damn bitch, it's so thirsty. Still stress and perfection, I'm looking too desperate, damn. Know what to say and how you do me. Supposed to love and supposed to hurt this way. Know I got to say, give me all of you. Feelings better like it, comfort in my sins. Feeling days of resentment, it's all about staying on my shirt, new bitch on my nerves. Going back on my word, damn bitch, it's so thirsty. Lose stress and perfection, let you all in my mental. Damn, you ain't deserve.
Okay, so my thoughts on this track overall, like I said, it's one I've already heard and it's one that I think is great. We waited over a year for the song to finally come out, and so for it to finally come out and be as good as it is, it's just something that is so rewarding, and it's also something that I am just so happy to listen to in full, of course. And so it's just something that I really love. I think the production on here is stellar. I found out later that Ronnie Jerkins produced this, and he's probably one of my favorite producers of all time. He has hit after hit after hit in terms of the things that he's produced, so he did an amazing job on the production. I love the lyrics, I love the cadence, I love how it flows. I just really love everything about the song. Probably a favorite for me on the album.
So I had a few notes that I wanted to add for this song. One, I remember listening to the song and feeling like she might have changed one of the lyrics, because in the original, like whenever she did the teaser, she said you're like 30, and then she changed it to you're so thirsty. And I really wish she would have kept it to you're like 30, because I feel like it just flows better, and I just got used to hearing it that way. The second thing is, whenever she releases as a single, I listened to this a decent amount of times, and I try not to overplay it. Like at a certain point I just stopped listening to it because I wanted it to be more so fresh whenever the album came out. Like, of course I already knew it, but I didn't want to be like, oh, like I listened to the song so many times, like I'm already done with it, you know? And so there was like a point where I'd be listening to the song like 2 or 3 times a day, just because I was so happy to finally have it, and I was enjoying it, and just kind of like fit whatever I was in to listen to at the time. To finally listen to it in context of the album and not be sick of it is really great. So I'm glad that I like had restraint at a certain point, and I think that overall it just shows how good that this song is.
Next up is gonna be Open Arms featuring Travis Scott. Like I was talking about earlier with the Low song that he is like uncredited for and whatever, I am not going to be listening to the song just because I don't like how he handled the entire Astroworld tragedy. It was something that was so unnecessary and heartbreaking. Do not like him as a person, and there's other things that I found out. I just don't even want to hear the song at all, so I'm just not going to listen to it because of that. I think that it's disappointing that she put him on the album for sure. And so hopefully soon someone will make a version of the song and just take him completely off the song, and then I can listen to it and let you guys know what I think about it in like a pin comment in the future. But as it stands, I just don't want to listen to the song, so I personally am going to skip it. Now to track 21, I Hate You. I have heard this one before, but like I said, I like to listen to albums all the way through in the first time, so we will listen to it again for the video.
I be so sick, you niggas, y'all contradicting. I feel so ordinary, shit make you want round me. Arguments, you air me out, driven about your whereabouts. I don't want no sex, but you know you my blood. I've been out, baby, I've been reminiscing. Messing with David, that what it was. Lost in the night. If you wonder if I hate you, I do. What I would do to make you feel just like this. What I would do to make you feel just like this. Used to be too silent till you scramble me. Used to be not violent till you ambush me. Missionary getting boring, switch positions. I've been out, baby, I've been reminiscing. Wish it was different than what it was. Lost, ain't no finding us. If you wonder if I hate you, what I would do to make you feel just like this. What I would do to make you feel just like this.
Okay, so my thoughts on the song. Great track overall. I really like her vocal on it, and I like the lyrics. I think that it's something that is really catchy, decent production overall. And now to track 22, Good Days. This is another one that I've already heard before, but we'll listen to it again for the video. Okay, so my thoughts on this track. This is something that I have loved ever since I first listened to it. There was like a period of time whenever I told my sister like we have to listen to Good Days, and we would listen to it every day. And it's just something that makes me feel so at ease and so centered, and that's something that I really appreciate about the song. I definitely think that this is some of SZA's best songwriting across her entire career. The songwriting on this song is absolutely incredible, and I really love her vocal on here. I think that she did an incredible job in terms of the vocal as well. I love the production on here. I think that it is flawless. I think that it is so fitting as well. And I just really love how this song flows. Like I said, it's something that is really comforting to me, and I think that this is objectively one of her best songs. And so I feel like this song deserves all the praise that it gets, all the awards, should have won all of them, in my personal opinion, because I love the song so much. And so whenever the song came out, I just felt like I was healing. I feel like it was just something that I really needed at that time. And so I feel like this song is just something that is immaculate overall, and it really does not get much better than this. I love this song so much, and I'm very glad that she included it on the album, because I think it makes the album that much stronger all around. But yeah, definitely gonna be a favorite for me on the album, of course. And now into the 23rd and final track, Forgiveless, featuring Old Dirty Bastard. Okay, so my thoughts on this track overall, I felt like this song was something that was very intriguing to listen to. It had a great groove to it, which I can really appreciate. I really can appreciate how the ODB sample was incorporated. She did it super well, and so I just really like it. It's definitely giving 90s with that like onto it, and so yeah, I just really liked it. I liked it a lot more than I thought it would, because I knew that he passed away, so I was wondering how everything was going to work, because I believe she said in the interview that I watched, I think she said it was from like a documentary or something like that. I could be wrong. So I was wondering how everything was going to come to fruition at the end, but it was definitely something that I really liked listening to. A decent song overall. I wanted to share my favorite songs in the album with you based off first listen. So I might have the title track. I really like this one. I really liked Kill Bill as well. I remember Blind is definitely going to be a favorite for me as well. I loved Gone Girl. I loved Ghost in the Machine with Phoebe Bridgers. I loved Nobody Gets Me as well. And then I remember really liking Far and Shirts and Good Days. So I don't know how many tracks that is, but it's definitely a lot, but those are like my absolute favorites based off of first listen. And then of course, as I keep listening to this album, my opinion can change over time. This is something that's happened to me before, and I feel like my favorite song on this album will be revealed to me the more that I keep listening to it. Normally on first listen, I'm like, this is the one, this is my absolute favorite song on the album, but this one I can't say it because I just listened to it. But the more that I listen to it and the more that I get it like in my head, I know that my favorite will reveal itself to me. But yeah, these are the ones that stood out to me the most on the first listen. Okay, and now I want to share my overall thoughts on this album with you based off of my first listen. So I think that this is a spectacular body of work, and it was worth the wait in my personal opinion. It's been almost 5 years since Control. There was so much anticipation for this record, and I think that she delivered. I think that she didn't disappoint, and people saw, oh, there's gonna be 23 tracks on the album, and they were worried about it, but I knew that she was going to deliver. SZA rarely ever misses, and she really did what she had to do on this album overall. I do think that there are some low points on the album, like I was talking about earlier. I believe it was the song Low. Like I said, I just didn't really like this one much. Like, it was something that was kind of one note. It was okay, and then the Travis Scott in it, I didn't need that on there in my personal opinion. Like I was talking about, I do not think that Travis Scott in this album was necessary at all, given the entire Astroworld controversy and just everything that happened in regards to that. He has to be held accountable for that. It was disappointing for me to see he was on the track list. I was hoping that wasn't going to be true, and I feel like she got to be held accountable for having him on the album. That's my personal opinion. I am not going to be listening to the song that he's on, and that's how I'm personally feeling about it. And then there was also this song, I believe it was Conceited. I believe I didn't really care for this that much as well. So generally, I feel like she could have taken off a few of the weaker tracks in here, made it a little bit more cohesive, and she could have thrown on Hit Different. Like I said, I feel like that really deserved to be on the album, and it would have been a little bit better. There are some weaknesses on the album, but I feel like the strengths are something that heavily outweighs that, and you definitely get some of the best cuts of SZA's career on this thing, with A Good Days, with the song with Phoebe Bridgers. You also have Nobody Gets Me, and just so many amazing songs on this record that deserve a lot of attention. So I really quite enjoyed this one. This is an amazing album that you should definitely check out if you love R&B music like myself. And like I was saying earlier, she really shows off her versatility on this record. You have the R&B, you have the hip-hop elements, you have the acoustic songs, you got the pop punk, funk or like the rock or whatever it is. She's just like showing her versatility in all these genres, and she does it super well. And like I said, that's something that's very important for me in an artist, and so I really like that she challenged herself in that way, and I think that the result of it is something that is amazing overall. And so I remember whenever like some of these little acoustic snippets of SZA were coming on, people were getting worried like, oh, where's R&B SZA? Why is she changing up her sound and blah blah blah. And this is something that I never worried about personally. Number one, the music was good, and two, like I said, I hate whenever people just kind of like box themselves in and they make the same song over and over and over again, or they just adhere to one style. I like people blending multiple different genres together. I like people trying something new, and the music was gonna top that, so it wasn't something that I personally worried about. This album felt like a breath of fresh air to listen to because all the different styles that she's dabbling in, and also I think that the songwriting on here is well done overall. Like I was saying before, SZA is a great songwriter. I love how she fits words together, and there was a lot of moments whenever I was laughing just because the lines were funny, and I think that she just blends everything together so well and just really paints the picture nicely. So definitely shout out to her. Shout out to the other songwriters on this record, of course. I think that it was something that was more vulnerable and personal and just solid overall. I really like the songwriting on this, and I think that these songs are catchy as well, and they're going to be stuck in my head the more that I keep listening to it as well. I love the production on this thing for the most part. There are a couple songs I'm like, it felt kind of went down with the production, but everything else felt pretty dynamic and really fitting to the track. So definitely shout out to the producers for doing your thing. Shout out to the engineers. Shout out to everybody who worked on this album, of course. And then I also love her vocals. I think that they were a treat to listen to. I think that they were delightful. They were really stunning at some points, just showing off her versatility as a vocalist as well. So that's also something I can appreciate. On the whole, I really quite enjoy this album. I definitely think it's going to be on my list for my favorite sophomore albums of all time, and I've been waiting to do that video forever because I was waiting for her to finally drop this. I had a feeling it was going to be on there. I did not want to drop it until this was out, and so it'll be on that list for sure. And I definitely think that this is going to be one of my favorite albums of this year. Probably a top 5 album for me this year. That's how much I enjoyed it based off of first listen, and I have so many more listens to go, you know, to really dissect this and to soak it in and see other people's interpretation of it, because this is just me listening to it, so I'm sure there's so much that I'm missing in terms of like interpretations. What does she mean with the songs? And there's just so much to deep dive into because this is such a great songwriter in terms of that. And so I forget why she said the title was SOS. I'm gonna have to watch that interview again and like look it up. But I really do like the album cover for this, by the way. I think that is something that's very cool. I always really love when people do a blue aesthetic for the album. I like how she's wearing the jersey on it and how it says SOS and SZA. And she just looks content on the album cover, and I think that this is going to look great on vinyl because you know that I had to pick this up on vinyl 100%. And so I really like that about it as well. And this record right here, in my opinion, proves why SZA has no competition. Are there other great people making R&B music right now? Absolutely. But I feel like SZA stands out for so many different reasons. And so this is just showing why nobody is seeing her. In my personal opinion, of course, she's cemented that she is the it R&B girl right now. I love what she is doing with R&B music, my favorite contemporary R&B artist out there currently. And so dabbling in with the other genres is something that is a treat. And I really do feel like there's going to be a song for everybody on this album. She really touched all the bases and just really knocked it out of the park. What a great sophomore album. Quite enjoy this thing. Excited to dive into it more. And I'm just so glad that we are finally here. This rollout has been a mess, and I blame you, TDE, because I swear SZA has been wanting to release this album forever. But I remember updating you guys on my community tab. And so now that we're finally here, I'm so glad. And like I said, I do feel like it was worth the wait. And is this better than Control? I do not know. I don't understand how people on like first listen can definitively say like, oh, this is better than blah blah blah, and just like rank it that fast. I always need a lot of time to just like really digest everything. I'm tempted to say yes, but I feel like I have to sit with this album more to give a really solid answer. And I feel like my updated thoughts on this album will come out next week whenever I do my favorite albums of the year, because like I said, this definitely will make the list. I would love to know if you guys think that this is better than Control or not. Do you think that you had enough time to process it? Let's talk about that in the comments for sure. But for me, I can't say absolutely yes until I feel like I've listened to this for maybe a couple weeks and just really soaked in all the songs on rotation. I'm tempted to, but to give a final answer is going to take me a little bit of time. So that's what I think in terms of that. So that's going to be it for my thoughts on SZA's SOS album. Let me know what you guys are thinking down below in the comments. What are your favorite tracks? What are your interpretations? How are we feeling about the album overall? Do you feel like it was worth the wait? Do you feel like it wasn't worth the wait? Let's talk about that all down below in the comments. I would love to know what you guys are thinking. Do you agree with some of my opinions? Do you disagree with me? Let's talk about that all down below in the comments. And if you wanted to see more videos on SZA, I will have a card on the screen right here to where you guys can go to, and that just takes you to everything that I've done on SZA so far. It'll also be at the end of this video and linked down below in the description. But that is going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, give it a like down below. It helps me out a lot in the YouTube algorithm. I very much appreciate it. You guys can also subscribe right down below if you would like to see more videos like this. If you hit the bell, you get a notification to your phone when I post, so you know when some brand new videos come out. The first link down below in the description is going to be my second channel. If you want to see more of me, definitely hit me up on there. Also gonna have Twitter, Instagram, my Spotify, and my TikTok if you guys would like to follow me as well. Like I said, I'm gonna be a lot more active on my TikTok. In fact, the other day I just posted my updated ranking of the Control album, so you can go over there and see that and all the other stuff that I'm doing. I've been a lot more active on there. And then I'm also going to have a link to stream this album. Again, I would highly recommend you check this thing out if you have not already. And lastly, I'm gonna have links to educate you guys on important situations. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one.